This episode of Another Happy Pod is going to contain spoilers. If you've not experienced the content yourself, please go ahead and do so before coming back and listening to the boys ramble on about it. Thank you very much.
In a world where hatred is monetized and toxicity thrives, we'd rather talk about the stuff that we like in the realm of pop culture. I don't know why I've separated that into three. We don't always succeed, but no matter what, we always try and keep things lighthearted and fun. This is Another Happy Pod. My name is Lawrence, and I am joined by Nathan. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Lawrence. I'm surprised there was no little smearing of my name, no little fun insult. But then again, that's more of a me thing to do.
Yeah, I think if I tried to do it, it just becomes like, oh yeah, does he find it funny, or is it just like a haha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bully you. You take it.
We've worked on the dynamic. I think the dynamic is now I log on, get verbally
Yes.
abused for 45 minutes.
Yes.
And somewhere in that we'll have a coherent point about a thing, and that'll be that.
Yeah, exactly. And then we edit it and put it out there, and that's the podcast. Welcome to the Bullying Hour with Lawrence and Nathan.
And sometimes when I edit it, so what's funny is I log on, get abused for 45 minutes, then I edit it, and then just listen to myself get abused for a further 45 minutes.
It's longer though. It's longer because you gotta wait and you gotta put cuts in and everything. Sometimes you gotta listen to parts over and over again when you're editing. So just a real blow to your self-esteem.
Sometimes I'm listening to the same insult over and over, and I'm like, oh, that is like, to anyone else that's really funny. That hurt my feelings quite a lot, but I have to keep it in because of the content, and it's quite funny.
Anyway, shut up. No one likes you. So, so recently, it's Top Gun fever. Okay, there's I'm sure there's military signups happening everywhere. People are joining the Air Force. Everyone's really excited about this new Tom Cruise movie.
Everyone can't wait to fight nondescript villain in
Exactly. We've all seen that movie. So we thought it would be a good idea to talk about a Tom Cruise movie from about 4 years ago.
As we always do. We're here, we're late, and we're not talking about anything with relevance. So strap in.
It's got Tom Cruise in it. That's close enough. What more do you want?
True. It's true. What I do quite like in this, having just seen Top Gun Maverick. There's a scene in Mission Impossible Fallout where he's struggling to just fly a helicopter, even simply, and I'm like, the duality of man is appreciated. So,
yeah.
We've been wanting to do Mission Impossible for a while, actually, haven't we?
We have. When we first started the pod, I know we made a list of potential episodes that we could do, and one of them I put on there is I kind of wanted to do a look at the Daniel Craig Bond movies, kind of versus the Mission Impossible movies, and see how they stack up against each other. The podcast has kind of changed in theme and stuff since then, so that didn't really work out.
So just bullying me.
Yeah, to just bullying you, yeah. But because I kind of think that they're two big spy franchises. One has been around for a lot. Well, okay, I say one's been around for a lot longer, but if you include the TV show, it's actually probably Mission Impossible that's been around for probably about the same time. Anyway, I kind of think that these movies are a bit better than the Craig Bond movies. I mean, if you're going for overall, enjoyability out of the whole franchise, then I'd say these ones stack up higher, really.
I think you're onto something there, because I remembered that the episode that we were going to do, and I thought a nice way to talk about this is to start off with being like Bond or Mission Impossible, which do I personally prefer? And I think I love the most of the Daniel Craig Bond films, and I think they're good for a spy espionage kind of thing. But if you just want to see some fist fights and some dirty explosions and a man fighting and barely escaping from things with his life,
a man just trying his absolute hardest to kill himself, whatever way he can.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I noticed, especially watching this, is the plot. what I appreciate in a spy thing and what I kind of hate, and I don't know if you've seen this, Chris Nolan is definitely guilty of this in Tenet and Inception and a bunch of other stuff, where it's like, we got to go to the Czech Republic and we got to meet a man there and he's called Bob, and when we meet Bob we got to go to see the other Bob and who's been having problems with his wife, and his wife has stolen some secret documents from a, like, fuck off with all of that. Like,
Yeah,
I can't keep up with that and maintain my interest for 2.5 hours. Like,
it's very convoluted in a lot
yeah,
of them.
and
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be.
No.
And I think the beauty of this is, hey Tom Cruise, you fucked up a mission. Yeah, but I only fucked it up because I care about people too much. We'll go unfuck it up.
Yeah.
And there's a twist or two along the way, and it keeps it interesting. But there's also some regular people characters that every now and again need something to be explained.
Yeah, and I think you don't necessarily get that with Bond. You get like he has help along the way, but people who will help him out are also spies, and they're also
Yeah,
like in the CIA or whatever. So they
the
kind of
people he
know.
speaks to are like M, or he briefly has some conversation with a woman who is like currently fucking.
Yes.
And he's like, we're gonna go steal these documents tomorrow, and she's like, oh, Bond, and it's like, what documents? Can you stop fucking her for a minute and give me some exposition? Like, that's, I don't know. I just think these are so. I like the Daniel Craig Bond films. I just think these are so much more accessible in terms of action thrillers.
I think the action is mostly better as well in Mission Impossible because like there's obviously the big draw of the real stunts, and there's always in pretty much every movie there's the big stunt that Tom Cruise tries to kill himself doing once again.
Yeah,
Um, so there's always that draw card, but even the stuff like in this, the whole Paris chase sequence is really fucking good. It's
yeah,
really enjoyable to watch.
and you can kind of, you can follow it the entire time. In, like, for example, in Spectre, there's a car chase sequence that's
Yeah.
too long. It goes on forever, and it's kind of, it feels like James Bond's driving down the same street and then one alleyway.
Is that the one at night and like you can hardly see what's going
Yeah,
on and
it's when
stuff?
he's
Yeah,
escaping the Spectre place,
yeah.
and he's
It's not
being
great.
chased. Yeah, and he's being chased by Dave Bautista, who looks way too comically large for his car. Um, no, but like in this, like Tom Cruise is like, he starts in a car, then he has to get in a shittier car, then he's on a motorbike that he just finds. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like it all. What I love about this is it feels like a man who has no fucking idea what he's doing, but he's very good at what he does.
yeah. It feels like the plan it goes wrong at several times, and then he has to improvise and try
Yeah,
get back to the original plan and take side steps and that sort of stuff.
you could almost
Um,
say the original plan would be impossible, Nathan.
okay,
Oh, the mission, it was right there, and I said plan. What a fucking idiot.
yeah, you are an idiot.
I deserve to be bullied. That's the new narrative now. I bring it on myself.
What was I going to say? Oh, I lost my plot because of your stupid joke. See what you do, you cunt. Um,
Dave
but no,
Bautista
that
in a large car. Or a
yes, of
small
course.
car.
No, that whole fucking Paris chase sequence is really good, and I do like the break in it as well when they've got the weird guy with the weird eyes and the weird voice, the villain, and they like put him in the car, but then they just have to stop because that policewoman has just seen them all, and there's just a moment of awkward, like fuck, what do we do? What do we
Yeah,
do? What do we do? Is just really good moment of tension there.
yeah. And I also think they have, like, don't get me wrong, some of the James Bond films have quite a heart to them. I think Casino Royale in particular has a nice emotional core behind the film. But, and I can't really remember many of the earlier Mission Impossible films that much. But I don't know if they ever took themselves as emotionally serious as this movie does. Like,
No, 3 definitely did because that's the one where like Julia was introduced and stuff. His wife.
yeah.
I don't really think the other 2 did though. The first 2.
Because what I like about this is it's a man, like, it's a man whose job is supposed to be like, when you put the two together. I know that we do have the Henry Cavill twist, but when you look
Yes.
at these two men, one of them is cut out for this job, and the other one is way too sensitive for it. It doesn't mean he's not as good of a killer and a murderer
Yeah.
and all sorts, but he's way too, like, to be a cutthroat, like, government official, secret agent, operative, operating under, like, if I don't get this mission done, then millions will die.
Yeah.
He's not cut out for it, and he doesn't change, but he doesn't learn to be fine with it by the end of the movie. The
Hen-
world around him just has to go, all right, you're like this.
yeah, Henry Cavill's great in this, by the way, but
Yeah,
he's really, you get the sense that his character, I mean, yes, of course he's evil, but even despite that, his character is someone who is absolutely willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to get the job done. If that means
yeah,
shooting down an innocent policewoman, that's what it means. Like, there's that sequence where before they actually do the escape, the heist thing, Tom Cruise has like a sort of dream vision sequence, whatever, of how the heist would play out, and he's like kills an innocent police officer. That doesn't end up happening. That's just like a dream sequence or whatever. You get the sense that if it was the roles were switched and it was Henry Cavill, he would have no fucking problem
yeah,
pulling that trigger and just getting it done.
yeah. He'd just be like clipping himself, and that's something I was going to speak about in this with that dream sequence, especially. I like that this isn't like it's not a movie that's like take me seriously. I'm gritty.
Yeah,
I like that it's happy to play around with some funky visuals in terms of like Tom Cruise imagining him and his wife being exploded in a nuclear fucking explosion. Like, but then you see him like turn to ash and shit. Like it's creative and it's cool and it's nice to have a big blockbuster that's like it's not built around stupid visuals and big visual effects, but it's not afraid to put them in when it needs to make the point.
yeah, absolutely. It's definitely like a blockbuster in every sense of the word, but it doesn't feel the need to go to a lot of those. I guess tropes is the word. I don't know.
Yeah, I also think like doing a lot of things practically kind of set it aside from other blockbusters. Like it's
Yeah,
why it's why they just made a Top Gun sequel, and people are going out to see it and loving it. Like Top Gun was a movie from the '80s that is fine at best and military propaganda, and like no one gave as much of a shit about Top Gun as they're now claiming they did.
no, not at all.
And now Mavericks come out, and because Tom Cruise is really flying like or like really in the cockpit of those jets when they're being flown, and like doing some pretty scary shit that I wouldn't fucking do. Like people are it's he adds an element to it, is what I'm saying. He makes it's no secret that his name draws people in
Definitely, he's a weird man. He's a weird short little man.
now. He's a proper fucking weird little man, isn't he?
He's really fucking weird, and he's definitely a Scientologist, and he does some weird fucking rituals and shit on set, which there have been stories about. But putting all that aside, he definitely does have like a draw to him when it comes to movies, especially like this, because he's he, I don't know, he's got like some weird fascination he does personally about like making things properly and actually doing it if they can,
Yeah.
which is good, and it definitely looks good. And you know, if you're gonna have Tom Cruise hanging off a helicopter, and if he's fucking willing to hang off a helicopter, then do it. It's not always necessary, I would argue, but it does look good. You can't argue
Yeah.
that, and it does definitely add to the intrigue of seeing it as well. So
I think if you're especially like into films, you have a certain level of respect for someone that's willing to do that as well. Like
yeah,
to bring you that to bring you that entertainment experience, which for you is an afternoon out to go to the cinema, and for them potentially risking their life to make sure that you have like a good like it's good. I one thing I laughed about after I saw this was like and after I saw Top Gun Maverick as well was that people would be like Tom Cruise is proof that you can be a weird as fuck dude. You could be quite problematic in terms of some of your controversial history,
yeah,
but people will still respect you if you're not a ginormous cunt. Whereas Jared
yeah,
Leto,
yeah.
on the other hand, he's like the anti this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like people don't like him because he's too pretentious. Tom Cruise is pretentious, but at least the stuff he produces is worthwhile.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
at least the stuff he makes is worthy of being pretentious about. Like, if I'm Tom Cruise and I had a bit of an ego on me, I could understand it because I've made some bangers.
No one's fucking running out in their droves to go see Morbius, despite what the internet tells you. Okay, it's it's just not happening. yeah, he's a weird man, but he gets very excited about movies, and you can't deny
Yeah.
he makes a good movie. He's also very involved. He like kind of pretty much just fucking owns Mission Impossible at this point. He doesn't. Paramount officially own it, but like they ain't making a movie without him. Like they ain't fucking
Yeah.
touching shit. Like he pretty much gets say on who's directing, who's writing. He's pretty much the fucking head honcho of these movies.
He's to this what Vin Diesel is to Fast and Furious.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't happen without his say so, and if he doesn't like it, it's not in the movie.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he could fucking fire literally every single person on the movie, and the studio would just be like, yeah, sure, man, no worries.
I guess that's fine. I guess we're losing money on this. That's
Holy fucking shit, my radiator just came off the wall.
cool. What?
It's okay, I fixed it.
Okay. everyone, if that hot scoop made it in, is the perils that Nathan's currently burning his hand on his live radiator right now, holding it to the wall.
It's not on, but
to bring you this premium content right here.
There you go. That's for the
make sure you keep swapping out your hands like hot potato.
Shut up.
Anyway, yeah. So the sorry, one thing, just the Bond comparison again. Bond was known for the gadgets. Like it used to be big on its like, here's what Q Branch have whipped up, and it's like a watch or some shaving foam or something that turns into
a shaving foam that's a bomb, or
just
a watch that's a bomb, or a pen that's a bomb.
Yeah, basically anything that's a bomb or something that can be used to turn something into a bomb.
Yeah.
It was basically the thing. But I actually think, like, it's funny that we had a conversation about all the James Bonds, bar the newest one, recently.
Classic enough happy.
Yeah. But we spoke about how like some of the Bond films have been scared to do that.
Yeah.
And this is just proof. This movie is just proof that if you go, we're doing something dumb, and none of the people say it's dumb, then it's just like, sure, okay, that's the thing. Like you've got the I know the mask, the stupid fucking mask that turns you into an identical clone of someone, and the voice, the like the kind of patch you can, like the nicotine patch you can stick on yourself that gives you someone's voice. What else has it got? It's got some the
masks have been in Mission Impossible since the beginning, and they're very fucking dumb. They are just the dumbest thing ever. But they've also kind of like evolved as the series has as well, because like in the first one, it's like I remember Tom Cruise has to impersonate this other guy, but the other guy is just clearly Tom Cruise in like an old man mask or whatever. Like, it's clearly just Tom Cruise in old man makeup on a TV show pretending to be someone else.
Yeah.
And they're like, I got to impersonate this guy. How am I going to do it? Like, oh, I fucking wonder. So, and then like the villain, like he's in a mask, but then he can't really move because it'll give it away and stuff. And he's like hidden in the dark or whatever. But yeah, as they've gone on, they're pretty much, no, we've just got your exact face now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. There's a nice bit of foreshadowing in this as well, where he's on the plane explaining the mask situation to Henry Cavill's what's his name? He's called Walker.
Augustus Walker.
Augustus Walker. What a terrible fucking name.
Yeah.
Augustus. Oh no. But yeah, so he's on the plane explaining to Augustus Walker about the mask situation, and he says, "Yeah, we need to pretend to be John. Is it John Lark? John Lane? John? Yeah, no, Solomon Lane. John Lark, I think.
John Lark, yeah, Solomon Lane.
So he's like, we need to pretend to be John Lark. We need to assume his identity as he's scanning Henry Cavill's face, and it's making a mask of Henry Cavill's face to like explain how the technology works.
Yeah.
And it cuts to a mask of Henry Cavill, and he's like, we'll assume his identity. I'm like, oh, you cheeky little fucker.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh, okay. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, some sneaky stuff in there.
Lawrence knows foreshadowing in cinema.
I do, and I noticed it myself. Don't look at my YouTube search history.
Top 10 things missed.
No, I didn't miss it. I promise. I caught it. What do you make of the cast then in this?
It's good. You got the whole team back. I like Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg. They're good fun additions. They have like fun little banter and stuff. I do like the moment where like they're saying, Benji, you gotta pretend to be this guy, put on a mask, and he's like, why is it always me? And then Ving Rhames just like gestures down at his body and then his own, and he's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
And
it's not going to be me, is it?
Yeah, and Simon Pegg just like, yeah, okay, fair. That's good. I like that.
I think Simon Pegg does a lot in this movie with like not very much. Like he's given stuff to do. Like his character has his character doesn't really have an arc. It has like stuff he needs to do for the plot.
He's just fun little tech guy / will occasionally be the mission guy as well. He's just
and I like that it opens up with like he's like, I don't like doing this fucking uranium bomb deal or something in an alleyway. And then Tom Cruise is like, well, you want it to be here, and he's like, yeah, well, now I fucking don't because it's scary. All right, don't be a prick about it.
I do like during the London chase sequence as well, where he's just like, oh fuck, I had on 2D, sorry, and he just can't quite figure out. He just keeps messing up the chase thing, and he just can't figure out why Tom Cruise just isn't going left or whatever.
There's a funny scene there where he's like in the middle of Tom Cruise is like in the middle of an office, and he's like jump, and he's like I'm jumping out but to everyone else he just stands at the window, runs in, fucking smashes a chair through the window, and then stands in the pane of glass, and then just goes, I'm jumping out of a window. And I just love to imagine those scenarios from like the regular people point of view.
Yeah,
that always makes me laugh.
There was this short little man who ran through our office. He broke a window and then just like screamed at himself for some reason, and then just jumped out.
It seems to me like all of those staff members are getting in trouble because it's not a plausible story, is it? How did this window get broken, guys? A very small man ran through and threw a chair at the window.
A very small man who just would not shut up about how much he loves movies. Just ran through here.
He ran in and handed me a pamphlet about some sort of science that I'd never heard of before.
Oh, no.
And then jumped out the window and broke his foot or something. So you know, this is becoming a bit of a recurring segment. And so,
is it the return of Clone Wars Corner?
No, it's not. No, what it is, however, is the return of middle-aged man tries to recreate an environment that he has no recent experience of, i.e., a nightclub sequence.
Oh, okay.
So we've seen this before in The Dark Knight, where Christopher Nolan imagines a nightclub to just be some techno music and purple strobe lights.
Yes.
And in this one, I just like that too. So they land, right? The nightclub's in Paris. They land in their wingsuit things.
Yeah.
Right. So they land in their suits, so they need to jump out of the plane. But what they have on underneath is just two suits.
Yeah, just full suits.
Full immaculate suits. And I get they're going to a meeting, but they're also going to have to change again and assume the identity of different people.
Yeah.
And also, one of them is not going in the meeting.
Yeah,
it just makes me laugh that like, I don't know. There's something about a middle-aged man going, I know nightclubs. I've been to nightclubs.
It made me laugh as well. The nightclub in question was just the biggest fucking warehouse you've ever seen in your life. just like 100,000 people just crammed in there. Like, this is a nightclub or a festival.
And also the building that they land on.
Yeah.
There's not a nightclub in there.
Yeah, that's like some historic like fucking landmark or something, and it's
like some cathedral type like architecture.
It looks
historic.
It looks like St. Paul's. It's French St. Paul's or whatever.
Maybe that's what it's like in France. I don't know, but it doesn't. What I'm saying is the outside doesn't match the inside.
Maybe that's what it's like in France. I don't know. Frankly, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what the French get up to. All right?
Yourself, Harris. All right?
I did. Speaking of this nightclub sequence, though, I did appreciate that it actually had realistic nightclub dialogue. Because too many movies where they're in a fucking nightclub and they're just talking to each other like we're talking right now, and it's not a problem at all. But they could not hear each other at all, and I did appreciate that because that's realistic.
And it's true to form that indeed, if you go into firstly, no nightclub toilet is ever looking like that,
especially not the men's. Are you kidding?
Yeah, there will be piss puddles of a galore. Like
Yes.
it will be everywhere. There'll be graffiti. There'll
Oh
be
my
someone
god.
there with their head. Like the fact that the club is that busy and the toilets aren't rammed. No,
Yeah. Not
not
at
happening.
all.
But I do like the the just the simple prospect of men sees two men go into a cubicle. Haha, gay, gay. Point and
Yeah.
laugh.
That is very fun. I do like that whole bathroom sequence though.
Yeah.
When the fight gets going is very good. Again, Henry Cavill, just an absolute fucking tank of a man, just reloading his arms. Yes, there's a weird editing thing when that does happen, which I can't not notice now. But yeah,
Is that where his beard grows partially
his
in
beard
one?
grows. Yeah, his beard grows when he reloads his arm.
But it's not like it's not a continuity shot to shot error. Like it's clearly the stitching of two shots filmed months
Yeah,
apart.
yeah.
Which
It's
strikes me like why did just film the shot unless it was like a massive unbroken take, which I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. But I don't know why. I can't figure out why they just have that in there for some reason. Um,
Oh, side
but
point, like like this has been done to death by every single person on the internet by now. But just this movie, even if you don't like it, you have to respect it because of the Henry Cavill moustache situation.
oh yeah,
Where Paramount went, no, get fucked.
yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
This is the cause of Mustache Gate for Justice League. And whatever you think about that whole situation, it's pretty fucking funny. It's
Yeah.
it's one of the greatest moments of cinema history, I think. So
But also the right choice because by all accounts, this is a historic blockbuster which changed the game in a lot of ways in terms of doing practical stunts and blockbuster filmmaking and how it could be different from like the standard conventions.
and also he looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. Henry Cavill looks good, and can you
Just
imagine?
give Superman a fucking mustache.
Yeah. You've got the perfect opportunity. His hair should have grown a little bit when he was dead, but not dead. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It just can you imagine? You have a film that is this good, but throughout the entirety of it, there is a big PNG mustache on Henry Cavill's face, just keyframed to follow him. It's funny, isn't it?
I'm imagining just one of those big, those like big cartoon Mexican mustaches.
Yeah.
He just hovering over his face. It doesn't quite match up with his movements as well.
When he turns his head to the side, they haven't got it in like a 3D dimension, so the mustache just goes to the left until it disappears.
Oh, good stuff.
But yeah. Just sorry to interrupt there. That was just the balls of Paramount. I will never not respect it.
No, that's great. It's definitely something worth mentioning. Like I said, one of the funniest things to ever happen to cinema. So
it really is. It just shuts cinema down for months.
It's great. It's good stuff.
Do you reckon every time Henry Cavill grows a beard now, he looks at it and goes, $200 million that beard. Like, or however much it fucking was. But let's be honest, it would have, in terms of time spent dealing with the matter and then time spent on the product itself, it's got to be upwards of 100 million. Has to
100%. It definitely have to be. Which is great for Paramount, bad for Warner Bros. But oh well. But no, so speaking of the cast, speaking of Henry Cavill, like I said, he's fucking great in this movie. He is. I think he's one of the reasons this movie works so well. And also, one of my criticisms of it as well is the fact that he dies at the end. I feel like they missed a trick with him, with killing him off, because like when the fuel like comes on his face and it's burned the side of his face, that's just purely setting up like a great fucking villain for the franchise going forward.
Yeah,
like, surely. But the fact that he died is a bit of a shame, really.
It's the villain playbook, isn't it? You introduce them, they're handsome, they're suave. Then the next time you see them, they'll either have a fucked up face or they'll have grown a dark and edgy beard.
Yeah.
And then, I do think you're right. When he did die, especially dying in the way that he did, where he just kind of gets twatted by a wire with a big hook on it, a big metal hook. That then
I think it went into his skull.
Yeah, I mean, either that or the fact that he then cracked his head on a mountainside and
Oh,
felt
he's
that.
definitely. There's no denying that he's dead.
Yeah,
Like
if he comes back,
yeah,
credibility is gone. Like,
yeah,
there is a limitation to my just get on with it and don't mention it, and I'm fine with it.
yeah.
Like, yeah, if they bring him back, I'm like, nah, you. I know you regretted killing him, but you got to commit to that degree.
Maybe he's like Darth Maul and he just got some metal legs or whatever.
Robot face.
Yeah. No, he is really one of the strong points of this movie. He's a great villain.
Yeah.
Someone who's not a great villain is that weird guy. I don't like that weird guy. He's so weird with his
Solomon
weird
Lane?
little voice. Yeah, I don't like his weird little voice and his weird eyes. He unsettles me, and I guess that's kind of the point. But still,
It
I
is.
don't like him.
It's definitely the point, and they make a point of being like it's despicable. Are you killing someone?
No, I live in the suburban area now.
Oh, okay.
There's often just kids screaming.
All right. Well, if you're not killing someone, could you go out and kill them?
Yeah, sure. Stay on.
All right. Yeah, no, I think there's like Ethan definitely references it at one point. There's a scene where he's like, hey, Henry Cavill's like, hey, did this guy do this? And he's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he did. And he's like, did he also do this? And he's like, yeah, if it's fucked up, he did it. Shut up now. Side point on reflection, that scene's great because it's clearly just John Lark having a fuck around with him, and
Yeah,
he's like just
yeah.
trying to get into his head to wind him up. But yeah, no, I like him. I think he's definitely used better in Rogue Nation for sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
think he is. Yeah,
but then he's the main villain in that, I guess. Like,
yeah, that's true. Henry Cavill's definitely the main villain in this. He's like more of a little side thing or whatever. But
mm.
I don't know. His eyes are very unsettling. He's got a weird face, like a ferret. And he's just,
What I like about him, and it's kind of what I didn't like about how they did Blofeld in James Bond, was how they make a point, and kind of Silver to an extent as well in Skyfall. They make a point of these people being like having had extensive military training and extensive special operations training, but they'll never get their hands dirty. Like,
yeah,
whereas when it comes to it, Solomon Lane can throw the fuck down.
yeah, that's true.
And like, and it's kind of like he was, yeah, he had his vague, "It's time to end the world order as you know it, Ethan."
Yeah.
Like he had a lot of that, which is obviously just screenwriter wanking on the page.
Yeah.
But then I think they backed it up in terms of when it came to the final act. He's like, oh, "I'm getting tired of this. I'm gonna choke you the fuck out. I'll kill you." I think they delivered on it, and by adding that level of kind of threat to him. If he was just another vague shit talking villain, it would have been very predictable and boring. But the fact that they added a physical threat that, like, he looked scary in fight. Like, I wouldn't fight him. So
He could handle himself. He very almost got the better of Rebecca Ferguson, which brings us on to Rebecca Ferguson.
Cinema incarnate.
Now she's good. Okay, Rebecca Ferguson is good in this movie. What's going on with a weird little storyline about Tom Cruise is maybe in love with her, but maybe he isn't?
I think it's I see I thought we'd speak about this. What I quite like, and what I think this movie tried to draw it somewhat to a close.
Yeah.
Because so it starts in Rogue Nation, I think, right?
Yes.
And they have a big love thing, and I think they
Do
quickly
they?
realized it's definitely like suggestive. I think. I don't know. Maybe I need a rewatch, but I remember it being somewhat of a romantic element.
Okay.
It's not like as obvious as Bond fucking plowing through her, but it's a case of like Ethan gives her the look over, and it's like maybe.
Yeah.
And what I quite liked in this is that they pay special they put in special care, and there's a few scenes where you see how Rebecca Ferguson's character relates to information and experiences the intake of information about Ethan and Julia, and how like Ethan and Julia's relationship is a testament to Ethan's like content of character in the way that he will sacrifice his own happiness for the greater good of the things he needs to do. well, I do think it's quite funny. That's like I'm so in love with you, but I have to save the world.
Yeah.
It is a bit
There's
funny.
there's also a lot of it's just weird and funny that there's a lot of moments where it's like Tom Cruise is the greatest character ever in this movie. It's just
Yeah.
like he's so good, man. He'll save the entire world, but he'll never do anything for himself, mate.
Yeah.
He's so good. Don't even worry about it.
Tom
There's a lot of that.
Tom Cruise is in every city at every opportunity. He has stopped every crime.
Yeah.
And on his honeymoon, a crime took place. A petty mugging took place. And Tom Cruise was so devastated that he abandoned all idea of love. Are we talking about Tom Cruise or are we talking about
I don't know. I can just imagine Tom Cruise just in his room writing this
Yeah.
at night, and then just like doing like a search and replace for Tom Cruise, and then highlighting all of it, and then just changing it to Ethan Hunt.
it's Tom Cruise. It's the same plot as this, but he can't be with Nicole Kidman because he's too busy sacrificing his life in the pursuit of murdering every visual effects artist that ever lived.
That's a movie I'd watch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that'll be great.
No. So about their relationship. I do think there's moments where like everyone's hearing Ethan reunite with Julia over their little earpiece comms situation.
Yeah,
And she's very obviously emotionally affected by it. She's crying, and I think in that moment she understands. I don't think this guy's ever gonna be there for me the way that maybe could happen. Not necessarily she wants.
yeah.
And I think the film pays special attention to making her realize, yeah, this isn't happening.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I don't know. That's just how I read it. I don't know.
Interesting. I don't know. I never really. I didn't read like too much into it. It was. I don't know. Just something about it felt weird because maybe it was suggested in Rogue Nation, but I don't really remember that much about it. So for me, it was just kind of out of nowhere that it was like, oh,
Yeah.
we're in love now. Or but maybe.
I do know what you mean. I liked the conflict of the fact that she just shows up and Ethan's like, where'd you come from and who are you working for? And she's like, nah, I'm not going to tell you that. And he's like, I want to know. I want to find out. You got to tell me. I'm Ethan.
I'm Tom. I mean, Ethan. I love movies.
Yeah, I'm Tom. I mean, is that visual effects? What is that? Speaking of visual effects and that a bit more about the kind of chase sequences in this. There's stuff that I think this movie. I don't even know if it's intentional, but it naturally has an advantage over. I'm going to use this example, and I like the film. But say for example, remember the car chase in Black Widow?
In Budapest.
Yes.
So I watched this the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if the car she was in was CGI'd, but I know that a lot of the cars on the street were.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of the background was done in, and it was mainly just this kind of empty street. Now that's fine, and it definitely achieves its purpose, right? And like whether you like the look of it or not, whatever, who cares? They got the film done. I didn't for one second question, is that a car chase?
Yeah.
Like the idea was communicated fine. In this, however, doing it practically and doing it on streets where shit is going on, there are other cars really there, and it's stunt drivers performing the kind of maneuvers. The one thing that I like about it is how like you can have the small details of how like Tom Cruise, Ethan is stunt driving this fucking shithole Skoda.
Yeah.
Right. He is popping that fucking clutch left, right, and center, slamming on the brakes, like to do drifts and stuff that this car has never dreamed of being capable of doing.
Yeah.
And so by the end of the chase, like the bumper's fucked, the exhaust has fallen off. You see in turns, like bits of the car will just come off, like, and it's nice. I like that. Like I don't know. Like again, I don't know if they built it to break, or whether just in stunt driving it broke and the director went, yeah, fuck it. I mean, it would break, wouldn't it, in real life? So let's do it.
Yeah.
But I just those little tiny details make things feel a lot more tangible to me, and I quite liked it.
To be fair, the car in Black Widow did get pretty fucked up too.
Oh, it gets fucked up, but it's like it's shiny fucked up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like it's one of them. Like you see the damage take place, and then at the end you see the reveal. But like I'm talking in this, you see shit fly off the car that is not. It's not the focus of the shot to see the car get damaged for continuity's sake. It just happens.
It's just something that happens
Yeah.
along the way. Yeah, I get what you mean. And we hate Marvel because it's too woke. Anyway,
MCU, anyways.
Exactly.
What do you think about how they pulled off? I'll tell you what. When the first time you saw this, did you suspect Big Evil Henry Cavill?
It's a pretty early reveal. Like it's not like a big. It's quite a low key moment. It's not something that's like, and now it was me all along, or anything like that. You know, it's quite
like,
a low.
The lights go out and he goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's quite.
And I didn't shave my moustache.
Yeah, it's pretty early on, like during the Paris sequence where we find out, like, oh, this bloke's up to no good. He's given her the wrong phone and shit. There's clearly some stuff going on. So it wasn't a huge amount of time that I had to figure it out. But no, I don't think I knew that he was like some villain going into it. But he played a good villain.
Yeah, I think what I appreciate about that twist is it's you don't have to wait long for it. So the people that go into it being like, oh, obviously he's the villain. Yeah, it's like, good, well done. Here's a pat on the back. You figured it out. We told you early. Well done. So now you can enjoy it. Looking at it, going, Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill is the villain. Tom Cruise is also the villain.
Tom Cruise is the villain of real life, but Henry Cavill is the villain of the movie. I know it's confusing.
But yeah, so like it works in service of those irritating people. And it also works in service of a dad's going to see this, not picking up on film structure and film language.
Yeah.
Not remembering anything about the smashed phone being replaced with the shiny one. And then being like, bloody good twist, isn't it? When Superman was the villain, all the lights went out and Superman was the villain. That was a bloody good twist there. So they have your ha ha ha, it was me all along moment.
Yeah.
But they also, like, for the people that would be irritating about it, they're like, we told you. You didn't figure, we told you earlier. Yeah, so I just quite like that.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Shout out, I don't know, Christopher McQuarrie.
Good. Brilliant content, Nathan. Shout out, I don't know.
I'm nothing if not a professional.
It's true. It's very true.
I will say, I did find it very funny when Alec Baldwin started fighting Henry Cavill. I was like, come on, man.
Oh, yeah. And the worst thing was, like, I'll be honest, that was a laughable moment for me as well, because not only do we know that Alec Baldwin is getting flattened, there is no reason why, like, don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill does end up killing him. But he holds his own for way too long.
He does, yeah.
Like, Henry Cavill would have fucking one-punched him in the gut, and he would have been like, oh, bloody hell, my beer belly, and then he's dead.
The fact that Alec lands even one punch on him is just a bit too far, really.
Yeah, and bearing in mind, like, he gets, the only person that can take, obviously, Ethan somewhat takes him out. He is heavily assisted by a metal hook and a mountainside, and a helicopter crash which he initiates. Side point: 9 times out of 10, that's not working.
Well, no, there's pure luck, really.
Yeah,
the fact that worked.
The fact that you're risking putting a detonator to a nuclear bomb inside a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny, but that mission was impossible. Like, that you should have blown that up, like, and then set the bomb off, and then both of you should be dead. But yeah, no, I liked. Oh God, what was I saying?
I don't know.
It was the fact that he managed to land even one on him was quite funny. But the only person that could beat Henry Cavill up was that martial artist dude.
The guy in the bathroom.
Yeah,
I did like that. I like that they just didn't clock at all that this guy would be any kind of skilled fighter, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And now we gotta fight this guy.
and Henry Cavill's very much the. I know he's playing. This makes me laugh, right? Because I know Ethan is the um is the American spy, and there's meant to be some sort of like cultural difference with John Walker being from the UK. And it made me laugh that it's like
American, isn't he? He's American.
I'm pretty sure he's using his regular voice, and then he's American. He's American as Thingy. There's an
Uh,
accent change when he reveals himself to be John Lark. I'm pretty sure.
if there is, I've missed that completely.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But either way, I
I
liked
think
it.
you are.
Fine, Nathan. Fine. Then I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'll hold my hands up. No, fair enough. The point is still the I like the fact that he's like, thanks for this probably very expensive thing of technology that is mission crucial for the thing. The reason that I'm here babysitting you is so that this plan, as approved by both like operation people, can work. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna use it to twat him round the head though.
Why not?
Like, I mean, just hit him. Or just body slap. You're the size of a house. Why a laptop? Like, why?
It worked,
Yeah, but then it didn't, did
but
it?
also he's bad.
He's lucky that he's with the most. He's standing next to the most theatrical and charismatic secret agent that has ever lived.
Tom Cruise was fucking loving it when that laptop broke, because I was like, now I get to do it.
Yeah, he's like, my
Yes.
training. Here we go. He walks in and he's like, "Did you know that I'm a bad man? And I kill people." And I just wanted one person in that room to be like, "John Lark, you're pretty small. You're a bit of a small guy."
You're a short little man, John Lark. Oh, God, you
Like-
love movies. So
Like General Grievous and Anakin. You're shorter than I expected. No, yeah, kids. What do you think of last? We'll wrap it up pretty soon, but
yeah,
what do you think about the whole? I know. There's a joke in the whole. What the world is my responsibility. Only I, a 5'3" man, can save the world from every disaster. Um, there's definitely humor in the ridiculousness of that situation. But what do you think about like the kind of subplot of this where he's fighting the fact that he can't let anyone die in this?
I think it's good. For the most part, oh shit, I do like how it contrasts again with like we were saying with Henry Cavill, who'll just like fucking kill anyone on a whim. It is kind of a flaw of Ethan's that he can't let anyone die, but also kind of a strength at the same time. That's why he's got such loyal friends and a team around him that he can trust and stuff. At the end of the day, can Henry Cavill trust anyone on his team really, or would they sell him out like the moment they get the chance to do so?
Yeah.
Probably, who knows? But yeah, I do like that. It's a good it's good character stuff, really. But
Yeah.
it is also kind of like a in that line of work. I feel like you would. I say this like I would know what the fuck I was doing, but I feel like in that kind of line of work, you would need to draw lines, and you probably would need to. If it was like this guy or the entire world, then you got to make that decision. And if you're incapable of making that decision, maybe you shouldn't be in the job. So.
Yeah, it's true. Like, and there's definitely an element of heartlessness that is shown to be needed.
Yeah.
But I like at the end, and it caught me off guard a little bit because like I said earlier, he doesn't change who he is by the end of it. He maintains that his philosophy is correct, and that it is logic that change instead.
Yeah.
So, but I like that Angela Bassett's ending line, who's like the main. I think she's like the CIA top dog, or for all intents and purposes of the movie, that's what she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And she's like, I used to think it was a weakness of yours, but now I think it's a strength. The world needs people like you, so I can carry on being a cunt. Like it's the how it was delivered. I don't know. It made me laugh. I don't know the exact quote, but it was along the lines of like, the world needs people like you, so I can keep being me,
Yeah.
basically. And yeah, that just made me laugh.
Pretty weird.
Yeah, I like it. No one dies on Tom Cruise's watch unless it's Alec Baldwin. Um,
And Henry Cavill.
and Henry Cavill. Well, he was
Yeah.
meant to die, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Even though the movie wasn't supposed to. Was Jeremy Renner in this franchise at one point?
He was, yeah. He was supposed to take over Tom Cruise. When they
and then they watched Born Legacy.
yeah. When they thought like Tom was getting on a bit, they were like, "We'll bring in this new young guy," and then he was in Ghost Protocol, I think.
Yeah.
And
Is
then
Jeremy Renner all that young?
he was then. he's
Oh, I
he's
see.
not now, but he was younger at the time. So they were like, "Let's get in this guy, and he'll be the new Ethan Hunt." But then
Yeah.
they were like,
Solving
don't worry
crimes
about
on his app.
"Yeah,
Guys, post your location on the Jeremy Renner apps.
guys, keep an eye out for that plutonium."
Have you seen that fucking
Oh no,
where it was like, I can't remember exactly what the thing was, but it was it was Jeremy Renner posted on the Jeremy Renner app and was like, "Good happy Friday, everyone. What's everyone up to?" And then
Oh, I know. Someone said like something like sexual, didn't they? And he was
I think I'm pretty sure someone just said fingering myself. and he replied to it being like, "Oh, come on, man, nasty."
he was like not cool or something.
Yeah.
I have seen that.
Imagine that. Hey guys, happy Friday. Has anyone seen John Lark? And John Lark's like having a wank. And he's like, "Oh, come on, bro. Not cool." Where's the plutonium, lol?
Incredible
Oh.
stuff.
Alright, that was fun.
That was fun.
I'll just grab any excuse to talk about the Jeremy Renner app on this podcast. And we'll remember it.
We will
find it.
We will find it. Just quickly, we didn't really talk about it, but the Halo jump sequence is fucking great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great that it was done for real, and the cameraman just literally had to fucking walk backwards out of a plane.
Yeah.
That's
Have
pretty cool.
you seen the behind the scenes footage of that?
Some of it, not like a whole in-depth thing. I've seen like probably clips and stuff.
It's fucking wild. It reminded me of if I had to do it, I'd be like, have you seen the Mr. Bean episode where he won't jump off the top diving board?
No, I don't think I've seen any Mr. Bean
Oh,
episodes.
you missed out. Clearly, you had a terrible childhood.
I watched Mr. Bean the animated series. That was pretty cool.
I've watched both, man. Come on, get with it.
All right, sorry.
You're not up to date on your
purist.
Mr. Bean law.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I don't know. There's a scene where he just can't take the dive, and he's like, every time he gets up, there's a long line of people waiting for him, and he's just petrified of doing it. And yeah, it just made me, made me think of that, because if I was that cameraman, I would be terrified.
Well, I think the cameraman he wasn't just any cameraman. It wasn't just Gary that he got on the day. They were like, "Oh, you're doing a jump," and he was like, "What?"
Imagine getting like Roger Deakins in his like late 70s or something, and it's like, jump out of a plane, and he's like, "What? No!"
That'd be great. What a way to go.
What a thing to specialize in. Yeah, so imagine like I'm splitting my degree. I'm doing, like in America you can split your majors, I think it is.
I don't
and it's
understand
like,
how
yeah,
that country works.
no, I don't either. It's very confusing. But I think like I'm just picturing being like, I'm really interested in like cinematography. That's what I want to do. And it's like, oh well, you haven't got enough credits or whatever to just do that. And he's like, well, maybe I'll major in skydiving as well. And Tom Cruise is like, get that guy. We need that guy. And it's the one time in his life his phone has ever rung professionally, and he's like, yes, I'll do it.
I think he was just more of a skydiver who they like taught how to operate a camera.
It's fucking tricky. Like,
well,
not only do you have to keep him like in frame, you have to keep him in focus amongst like ridiculous amounts of force being pushed like that. You'd have to be pretty fucking snazzy.
Apparently they trained for that stunt for like over a year though. Like it was the first one planned, and it was literally the last thing in the movie that they shot though.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. I mean, you'd want to prepare for it, wouldn't you?
Tom Cruise was doing like fucking like 5 practice skydive jumps a day, and I was like, why? Okay.
The man isn't in his 60s. Like, it's a myth.
He's
like
not yet. He's almost.
No, he's 58. I'm pretty sure.
fucking hell, he's definitely like sacrificing children or some shit, mate.
Yeah.
He's doing something.
Well, that's in his religious text, isn't it? That's how he got entrance to the to the sacred tomb of that guy's wife or whatever.
We should wrap up.
we should wrap up. One thing quickly, tiny last thing. So in this film,
Like Tom Cruise. Hey,
he does a halo jump. The next one, he's like jumping off a train off a cliff or something.
oh yeah.
In the next one, what do you want to see him do that he hasn't done already?
It's only a matter of time before he goes to space for real, isn't it? I think like he's already said that that's going to happen. It might have been for Mission Impossible, but I think they've already like made plans to like film in space for real. So yeah, it's only a matter of time before he becomes an astronaut as well. Apparently, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want to see next, and I think it's better that way. It's more fun if Tom just surprises me with whatever ridiculous thing he has.
I want to see him strip naked and fist fight a train.
I want to see him.
He's just naked but wearing boxing gloves, and he has to fight the train. That's what I want to see.
That'd be pretty good. I want to see him remake The Revenant, but do the bear fight for real.
Yeah. But in this one, the bear and Leonardo DiCaprio have teamed up, so he's also got to take him out.
He's got to take on a wild Leonardo as
well. Beard and everything, with the ice in it and everything.
Weird energy in this podcast today.
If you came here for insight into the film, sorry. All you've got is like an hour of us riffing on Tom Cruise.
He deserves it. He's a weird little man.
He is a weird little man, but he's a weird little man that makes good movies.
Yeah, I also get the feeling like he's someone who will search for his own name though on the internet.
Yeah,
and just see what people are saying about him. So definitely hashtag this with hashtag Tom Cruise.
I think he's going to be celebrated, and then the sad day in maybe in 100 years, Tom Cruise will finally die.
In 150 years.
Yeah, when Tom Cruise's life force runs out. And I say life force because it's not him doing it. When the fountain of youth runs dry because there's no more virgins to sacrifice, he will. He gives off the vibes to me of a guy that will be celebrated widely, and upon his death, we're going to find out a bunch of unsavory things.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think there's going to be some stuff that is going to massively come to light. I think Scarlett Johansson was supposed to be in one of the Mission Impossible movies, but then she left, and she was saying like, it was just really weird on set. There was some weird shit going on, but then she like quickly shut up about it. So I don't know if like they just paid her
because he was in character as Ethan charging towards her. She got a call like, if you don't shut this interview down, I'm going to crash a helicopter into the studio.
Side notes, just quickly, it is very funny when Ethan's climbing that helicopter, and then to that guy in the back, he just fucking appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just being in a helicopter and just be like, what the fuck, there's a guy here?
Yeah, how are you here? What the fuck? When it happened, I pictured, the Metal Gear Solid alert sound effect, the dun. He just pops his head around the corner. Very Assassin's Creed. What was that? Must have been wind energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff. Right, thanks for listening to us take the piss out of Tom Cruise. In all seriousness, he makes good films, and this is a good film. Yeah, cool. We had a good time. If you like these, they go live Fridays at 10 a.m. Yeah, I was about to say 12, but it's not. It's 10.
It might be 12 because I'm editing. So
it might be 12. No, stay tuned. We'll find out. Do you know what? It will go live tomorrow. Don't hold your breath.
Well, you already listened to this, so it's live.
Yeah, there you go. Well done. See, it wasn't too late, was it? Unless it was. In which case, sorry. You can review us. Give us a little 5-star review. Let us know what you thought, if you liked it, if you didn't. And if you didn't, maybe keep it to yourself, because it's nasty. You don't need that. I don't need to read that.
Yeah.
If you're a stan of Tom Cruise and you're personally offended, I know just the church for you. And also, you can follow us on social media at Another Happy Pod on Twitter and on Instagram. And on TikTok, where Nathan is constantly throwing it back and doing the renegade.
It's true. That's all I do.
it's religiously. Yeah, nice one. Oh, next week we're doing this.
That's better. I'll wave to you from the finish line. McFly.
Wowee, it's Ready Player One.
Okay.
Sorry about it. Yeah, can't wait. Gonna have loads of fun. Probably will continue to be a not so good movie. I've never seen it. Sorry.
All right. Well, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
There is some weird energy in there.